98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
It's Thursday morning. Good morning from Adrian Kennedy. How are you today? Thursday, the 13th of Feb 2020. I hope everything is good with you, and I hope you can stay with us between now and midday today. Now, in a couple of minutes, this is something we were meant to talk about yesterday, but time ran away on us. Are you somebody who flashes oncoming cars to warn them that they're heading towards a speeding van? Now, I have to put my hands up and admit, I am one of those people. I do it. But we're being told and we're being urged not to do it. In fact, in the UK, they announced this week that they are cracking down on this big time by handing out hefty fines to motorists, up to £1,000 if you're caught flashing an oncoming motorist to warn them of a speed trap. And now a lot of us do it, and we do it out of, well, I suppose, common courtesy. We think it's the nice thing to do. I'll be talking to a man in a couple of minutes who says, please don't do it, because the only way people learn to slow down and stop speeding is if they are caught and they do get penalty points, then they do alter their behaviour. But by flashing them and warning them of the speed trap, they slow down for a moment until they pass the speed van, and once they get past it, they're back to speeding again. So you achieve nothing. All you're doing is stopping them getting penalty points. As I said, I'll be talking to a man who believes we should stop flashing oncoming motorists because we need to slow down, and we need them to get the message that we've to slow down. So I would like to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text, you can WhatsApp, you can send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Are you somebody who flashes an oncoming car to warn them that they're heading towards a speed van? If you are, I want to know why you do it. Or maybe you're somebody who, on a point of principle, doesn't do it. And if not, why not? Call me right now, 6797 981, or you can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Before we get to taking your calls on that, I want to just deal with something that was in the news. And, well, also find out your opinion on this. Dublin football club Bohemians have teamed up with Amnesty International as they unveil their new 2020 away jersey in a call for an end to direct provision. The new strip features an image of a family fleeing war with the words, "Refugees welcome," across the centre of their jersey. Now, the move has been generally met with positive feedback, although there were some negative comments saying that football and politics shouldn't be mixed. Well, I'm joined on the line by Dan Lambert, who is the commercial director of Woes. Dan, explain to me, if you will, where this idea first came from.
It came from just the years of work that we've been doing at the club, I suppose. For the last 4 seasons, we've been bringing people who are in direct provision centres. We've been doing it kind of behind the scenes. We've been bringing them to games. It started out as a fan-led initiative. A fan and member, Kevin Brannigan, he raised money just on the terraces to pay for buses to go out to the centres, and then that kind of became more of an official thing within the club, and we began to use money from our jersey sales to go into a fund to do that. And that led us, I suppose, to deal with Massey, who are the movement of asylum seekers in Ireland. We've held meetings for them in Dalymount, and at Christmas time, in conjunction with Bang Bang and Fibsborough, we got presents for 500 kids in direct provision, invited them and their families to Dalymount. Our coaches coached them on the pitch. Some of our fans and members made food for them, and we had a Christmas party, and that's one of the best days I've ever seen in Dalymount. So, and
what has the reaction been from fans to this sort of outreach to people in reception centres?
As you said at the intro, it's been, the vast majority has been positive. The club, Bohemians is different to most football clubs in that it's 100% members owned, and we always have been for their 130th anniversary this year. So that goes against what modern football has become, when it's often just a wealthy owner or an investment company that gets involved in football. So we're naturally progressive, and we work with a huge amount of groups. We work with people with visual impairments, people in prison. We work with homeless people. We work with people with mental disability, with older people. We do a range of projects through the Bohemian Foundation, which is our charitable arm. And this is just one element of that. And we thought that this was, an issue that that was important to highlight. We've had players who've been in the rec division. Football is a global game. That's the thing about football, is that, we've said it before, but when someone arrives to Ireland, if you arrive to Ireland from a country where the culture is different and the language is different and the weather is different, the one thing that's a constant there is football. You can bring your family to a game and they can enjoy that and experience it and be there like everybody else, understanding and enjoying a football game.
Okay, so that was the first part of this whole process, this outreach to people in direct provision, bringing them to games, making them feel welcome in Dalymount and so on. But now you've taken it to a new level, which is your jersey. Tell me about that and how that came to pass.
It came to pass. We met with Amnesty last year and spoke to Amnesty and said that we might like to look at partnering with them. And they were open to it. We had a number of discussions, and the jersey is a kind of culmination of that. It said, like, the message on the front, like, I don't view it as a political message. That's not how the club interpret it. We had discussions about it, and we viewed it as a social message. Really, it's telling people that they are welcome to Dalymount, they are welcome into the Bohemian family, into the football family. And thankfully in Ireland, racism in sport isn't something that we encounter in Ireland much of, thankfully, but it is something that's widespread outside of Ireland. We see it in the UK, we see it a lot in continental Europe. And I think messages like this are important.
And indeed, there have been incidents here in Ireland as well. We can't totally gloss over it. There have been racist incidents in sport here in Ireland as well. Yeah,
they've thankfully been few and far between. Look, there should be never an element of racism in sport. And I think with a message like this and what we've done with this shirt, it does, it changes mindsets. I think it makes people, consider that sport is a unifier. It should never divide people. It should only unify people. And that by having a message like this, hopefully we can ensure, as a sports club and as somebody involved in football and as a club involved in football, that doesn't creep into Irish society.
Okay, now there's a bit of a difference between an anti-racism message and the message that you're portraying, which is refugees welcome. It's very different messages.
I don't think they are that different, really, Like, we see sport against racism, soccer against racism. These are all positive groups. And with this message, I don't think it's raising that. It's to say that people are welcome. And as I said, with these projects that we've done, when people come to Dalymount, what we're saying to them is that, you're in a situation at the moment where you don't have the financial capability to come to see football, but we'd like to, as a club, bring you to our games. And what is that other than a welcome, And like, the Cade Míle Fáilte, you see it when you leave Dublin Airport, you see it on the way into Dublin Airport. These are messages that are really deep, I think, in Irish society, and it's just really bringing that into football. Now,
I just want to run something by you, and that is FIFA rules and regulations, which state that a team whose equipment contains political, religious or personal slogans or statements will be sanctioned by the competition organiser or by FIFA. Is there a possibility that you're straying into this sort of territory with this message on your jerseys?
Again, that's open to interpretation. We've interpreted it in a way that we don't see it as political. I suppose the same question could have been asked of Barcelona with UNICEF undershirt. Is the UN a political body? Again, it's down to interpretation. Is it a humanitarian body? So, we've looked at this. We see Amnesty International as a human rights group, and we see an issue of welcome or as a humanitarian and a social message. So that's the way that we've interpreted it.
So you're not worried that this might breach any rules?
We're not worried. No, as I said, it is down to interpretation, and we've interpreted it in a way that we deemed acceptable.
Okay, and finally, a lot of this has been made possible by your club partner and sponsor, Des Kelly Interiors, because they won't be on those jerseys.
Yeah, we want to thank Des Kelly. Like, they made this possible. They've come back on board. They've been a fantastic sponsor of Bohemians. They've been involved with the club for over 25 years. The late Des Kelly, who passed away a couple of years ago, initially with Des and now with his children and his family, and they made it possible. As I said, they're a Dublin institution. We'd like to thank them and for all the work they've done for Bohs over a long number of years, through good and bad, through good times and bad times of the club. The Kellys have been a consistent supporter.
All right, Dan Lambert, Commercial Director of Bohemians Football Club, thanks very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
Thanks. Cheers, Adrian.
All right. Now, there's been mixed reaction to this move by Bohs. A lot of people saying this is political and they shouldn't be involved in putting political statements on their jerseys. One message just came into us a second ago. Would the Bohs rep be happy for a far-right club like Lazio to have a far-right political message, like refugees not welcome? Interesting point of view. That would say that this is a political statement. A lot of positive comments from people. This is class stuff, Bows, says one person on Twitter. Well done on this piece of social leadership. It's not all positive, though. This is a disgrace bringing that stuff into football. Not every Bows fan has those views, so why put it on the jersey? Says that message. And lots more. So there has been mixed reaction, but overall, I think it's a positive reaction. So the jerseys, these are the Bows away jerseys. It shows a kind of a cartoon in black of a family fleeing war with the words "refugees welcome" across the centre. And generally speaking, it has received... overall, I think it's received a lot of support. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Now, I mentioned to you about flashing oncoming cars and whether or not you do it. And I want to find out whether or not you do it. After the break, I'm going to be talking to a man who is urging you not to flash oncoming cars as they approach a speed van. We're back in just a second.
The sound of the city from Ballybrack to Ballymun. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
Okay, so this happens every day of the week on Irish roads. Chances are it's happened to you or you've done it. And it's something we've never spoken about before. Have you ever been driving along a road, maybe a little bit over the speed limit, and a car coming towards you flashes you to warn you that there's a speed camera ahead? What do? You immediately slow down. You're grateful to your man for flashing you, and you are doing the right speed when you pass the speed van, the Gatso van. No penalty points, no fine. Job well done. Or is it? Do you think it's morally wrong for motorists to warn each other about oncoming speed traps? Have you done it yourself? I'd like to hear from you on 6797 981. Now, the reason we mention this is the UK announced this week that they are cracking down big time on motorists warning each other with fines of up to £1,000. Police could charge anyone who appears to be getting in the way of conducting speed checks on other motorists. The offence is punishable with a fine of up to £1,000 or a maximum of a month in prison. And we want to know, do we need similar laws here? We actually do have a law. It's actually illegal to do, but I've never known of anybody ever to be done for doing it. So should we get tough on this? Because in theory, if you're flashing somebody, all you're doing is warning them to slow down. They slow down and then they speed up again. So they're not actually altering their driving behaviour. If they had 6 or 9 penalty points and were about to be knocked off the road, they may alter their behaviour. I'd like to hear from you on 6797 981. Text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. In fact, let's kick off with a WhatsApp voice note from Ken.
How are you, Adrian? Yeah, I absolutely would and do flash people to warn them of a speed trap, for the simple reason being that most people heading towards a speed trap may be only doing 1 kilometre or 2 per hour above the limit, or even 5, maybe 10. We all do it. We're all driving along. We don't realise we may be a couple of kilometres over the speed limit. Does that justify getting a big fine or points on your licence? I don't think so. So that's why I would flash. We're not talking about people that are joyriding now, and don't get me mixed up with that. But I mean, for just normal people driving along the road who may be a couple of kilometres over the speed limit, absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Ken. By the way, if you want to see a photograph, one of our listeners just sent a photograph in to us, okay? And it's a photograph of a speed van, one of those Gatso vans, and this guy's Jeep parked directly behind it, parked legally, but blocking the camera of the speed van. And he did it deliberately so that the speed van couldn't clock people. He's going to be chatting to us in a minute. If you want to see that photograph, have a look at it. It's on our Facebook page right now at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Now, as I said, in the UK, they are warning motorists they could face fines of up to £1,000 if they're caught flashing oncoming motorists. I'm joined on the line by road safety campaigner Leo Ligio. Leo, would you like to see us getting tough here in Ireland as well?
I would, yes, because we have a terrible problem in this country with speeding. And I only witnessed this morning on these icy roads. Two cars overtook a line of 3 cars in front of them on the N81, and I see it every day. Even last week in Storm Ciara, the trucks, speeds of the trucks and everything else. It's crazy. And actually, only this morning, an army truck approaching me flashed me coming down the road about a speed van as well.
Okay, now it is something I'll put my hands up and admit that I have done myself to warn oncoming motorists if I pass a speed van on the opposite side of the road. But why should I not do that?
It's putting people's lives. There's a lot of speed vans out there, but they don't. To me, they don't seem to be working. I know the Gardaí say they're not there to make not there to make money out of it. But if it's the only way it's going to stop people, I'm all for it. Like it's just something has to be done. Like a third of people's lives have been taken away by speeding drivers every year. Like 33% of road deaths are caused by speeding. And I know you're going to have some people out there, speed doesn't kill, it's a driver. No, it's the speed. Like if you're traveling at excessive speed, your reactions aren't going to be quick enough to stop.
So this, what's seen as a kind of a common courtesy for motorists, an unwritten rule that you warn oncoming motorists, you're saying that if I'm all for road safety, I should stop flashing the guy oncoming and let him get done for speeding so that he gets penalty points and starts learning his lesson, basically.
Absolutely. Like, you're doing nobody any, you're not doing that. You're only doing that driver a favour by stopping. You're not doing anybody else. You're putting other people's lives at risk by flashing oncoming drivers like that there.
Okay, so you would like to see our laws getting much tougher on people who do flash oncoming motorists?
Absolutely. Even on speeding drivers, I'd like to see the tougher penalties. But then again, it all boils down to enforcement. It has to be enforced. The guards have to be on the street to do it.
Is it something that could be practically enforced? Could I not argue that, well, actually, I was just flashing a mate of mine who was coming towards me?
That's going to be a major problem as well. How do they enforce it? Everything boils down to enforcement. If the guards aren't there, etc., etc. And like you said, oh, you're the guy coming down. But then again, if you're flashing regularly, like I've seen cars do, a number of cars, not just one car, like it's going to be hard to prove that you knew every driver coming down towards you.
Well, no, that's very true. And like I said, I'm putting my hands up, and I know an awful lot of people listening to us now will admit that they have done it or had it done to them as they're driving along, and you're aware that up ahead of you is a speed van because somebody flashed you or because a couple of motorists flashed you. But you believe we need to start changing the way we look at what we think is a good deed?
We absolutely do. Like this morning, I'm on my way to Monaghan now to talk to a number of transition year students on road safety and tell them Marcy's story. For the last couple of weeks now, I've done at the actual road show in Cork. The 2,500 students and the Red Cow there last week with 600 students trying to promote the road safety and the dangers of speeding and drink driving and use mobile phones and then if people come along and flash them and just ignore it.
Okay, so obviously the idea here is to get that message through to young people who are our future drivers, who are all going to be driving in the next 10 years.
Absolutely. For some reason, I honestly don't know from the bottom of my heart, I don't know why people aren't listening, what we have to do to get through to people, and if it's going to cost bigger fines, I'm all for it, because nothing else seems to be working.
Okay, so finally, Leo, what is your message to that motorist who doesn't think twice about flashing an oncoming motorist to warn them of a speed van? Your simple message to them.
I know you think you're doing good. You think you're being courtesy to the other driver, but in the long run, you're not. That guy is just going to keep on speeding until he causes an accident and kills someone, and that someone in the future could be you or one of your family. So please don't do it.
All right. Road safety campaigner Leo Legio, thanks very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
No problem, Adrian. Thank you very much.
And I would like to hear from you on 6797 981. And just to put in context, by the way, Leo Legio has been a road safety campaigner for many years, because tragically back in 2005, in October 2005, his 16-year-old daughter Marcia was killed in a hit-and-run accident in Clondalkin. So obviously he has an axe to grind. That's That's what made him a road safety campaigner. The death of his daughter back in 2005. She was only 16. Anyway, I would like to hear from you. You've heard what he said. We shouldn't do it because we should allow people to get caught. We should allow people to get penalty points. And that way, they will start to alter their behaviour. They will slow down on the roads. In other words, you're doing no favours for anybody by flashing. That's it. That's what he believes. Now, as I said to Leo myself, I put my hands up and admit that I do it. I have done it. In fact, I only did it the night before last. But should we? That's the question. Now, Connell, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
Adrian, how's things? How are you?
You sent us in a photograph a couple of minutes ago, and I'm smiling, but it is a photograph of your Jeep, and your Jeep is blocking a speed van camera. Tell me where that was and why you did it, or was it even intentional?
Oh, no, of course it was intentional. That is outside the Dublin bus garage out in Clontarf. I used to work out there.
Right.
So,
oh yeah, I know where it is now. Yeah, I can see it. Yep,
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, opposite the sailing club.
Yep.
And normally you go in there, and you wouldn't even be speeding on that road. Maybe you'd be 5 miles over at a push. And it's just one of those sneaky little places that they think, oh, it's great, we'll catch somebody here. And 9 times out of 10, if there's a speed camera there, you're actually going to be causing more traffic than anything else because you have everyone jamming on. Mm. And that can cause more accidents than it would if there was no camera there. Okay, so you toddled along, you saw the speed van there, and then you parked your van quite legally directly behind it to essentially block the camera. Exactly, yeah. And was there nobody in the van? As far as I know, there has to be somebody in the van. Normally, I used to work in the Dublin bus garage. So you'd see your man measuring out the distance and checking his cameras and everything like that, and as soon as he hopped back into the van, I'd just park up behind them. And you obviously hopped out, locked the car and ran? Yeah, went off into work. Right. So, and there was nothing they could do to you because you were parked perfectly legally? Exactly. And did you ever talk to them about it? Did you talk to anybody? No, obviously not. No. Well, he came out once and told me to move it, and I just said, I'm legally parked, so you can't do anything about it. So did he end up moving on? As far as I know, they have to stay there for the certain shift, but normally he'd go after 3 or 4 hours. Right, okay. Now, there are people who will say, well done, Connell, you're an absolute legend. But there are others like that man, Leo, that I was talking to a second ago, would say you're doing nobody any favours by blocking that speed van's camera. Well, I don't see how I'm not doing anyone any favours. If anything, I'm saving them money and I'm saving their licences. I could be saving their jobs for all I know. But if they're a driver, but Leo's point was the whole idea of having these speed vans is to catch people speeding, send them out penalty points, and it's only when you start getting penalty points that you start changing your behaviour. But could you not also argue then that I could also be saving lives by somebody jamming on when they see a speed camera and causing somebody else go into the back of them? I know people slow down when they see them. I don't know if they jam on, do they? Well, it depends what speed you're. You want to be doing, but that's exactly what I was about to say. You want to be doing some speed to have to jam on your brakes when you see a speed van. Well, I mean, you would have some people that would completely panic and would slow up fairly quick. Okay, so but I don't think I'm doing anything wrong by leaving the Jeep there. Well, no, you're not. You were parked legally. But you parked there deliberately to block the speed van from flashing oncoming motorists. Exactly, yeah. And I'd also argue the fact that because it's next to a bus garage, even on public roads or wherever it is, but because it's next to a bus garage, you're going to have drivers coming in, finishing their shifts. They just want to get in and go home. And if they see the speed camera, they're going to be worried then, thinking they might have been slightly over and their jobs could be on the line. Your job is only going to be on the line if you're up to 12 penalty points. And if you're up to 12 penalty points, you lose your licence. Then you could be in difficulty with your job. But the point that Leo was making was, if you get 3 points or 6 points or you're even up to 9 points, you will change your behaviour. Now, years ago, it's about 6 or 7 years ago,
I was up to 9 penalty points, and I'd been done once or twice for my mobile phone, and I was done once for speeding. Anyway, I was up to 9 penalty points. And I can tell you, Connell, that from then on, until all those points dropped off my licence, I drove like a nun. And it did alter my driving.
And do you find now that you've gone back to speeding?
No, not really, no. No, I'm actually a little bit more anal about the way I drive compared to what I used to be.
And you get worried about being caught again?
Correct. That's the point. Stay there for 1 second, if you can, please, Connell. Brian, you're on 90... By the way, sorry, Brian, just before I do... If you want to see the photograph that Connell sent in to us, it's on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. This photograph was taken outside Clontarf bus depot. It's his Jeep blocking the camera of the speed van, much to the annoyance, I should imagine, of the occupant of the speed van. Sorry, Brian, you have been done for this.
I was, Adrian, yeah. No, I wasn't done because I never actually... I think it was a warning I got. Now, he took me details and said expect the fine in the post, etc., or summons, but it never came. But I don't actually know legally whether I could be done for what I'd done. But basically what happened was I turned a corner and on the opposite side of the road there was a Garda car parked with the 2 guards with the guns over the roof, doing the... basically trying to catch the traffic coming towards me. So I flashed, a couple of times when I passed the car. But little did I know that there was a motorcycle guard hiding on my side about 100 yards down, and out he stepped, stopped me, pulled me in, went through. Actually, he read me the riot.
Okay, so you basically flashed directly at...
the oncoming traffic.
Right, okay, so he pulled you in and gave you a good telling off.
Oh, literally, and started saying some silly stuff to me about, have you ever seen a traffic accident, all this stuff,
Right.
Now, the road we were doing, I think it's 50 kilometres, so if the oncoming traffic was doing, I'd say the most you'd get up to be about 55 or 60 if it was clear. But, so I've sort of been reluctant to flash ever since, but I'd say...
Okay, so he did he take your details?
Oh, everything.
Right.
He told me expect the summons and everything.
And how long ago was that?
6-7 years.
Okay, so right.
I'm
so
still waiting on it.
Right, okay, I don't think you're going to get it at this stage.
Yeah, but I don't.
But the point being,
I don't think legally, Adrian, at that time there was anything he could have done. No,
we were talking off the record, off air to a Garda, and he said yes, it is illegal. It comes under obstruction, and he has never heard of anybody being done for it. So you got a telling off for it, but you didn't actually get a summons, and you didn't actually.
I didn't get a summons.
But the point being that it is illegal in Irish law to do that. Now,
yeah, but I'd say it's very, very difficult to get a conviction based on it, because I said I knew the chap coming towards me.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that's exactly what I'd say.
Yeah. And Adrian, sorry, just before we finish this one, going back to your point, I drive for a living as well, and I got to 9 points very quickly, very, very safely. If you know what I mean.
Yes,
I got done for, say, 55 and a 50, 65.
That's exactly what happened to me outside Glasgow Cemetery.
I got up to those 9 points very quickly when it became 3. And similar to you, it completely changed my
driving habits,
attitude to driving.
And me too.
I need it for my job.
And I don't even need it for my job, but from when I hit the 9 points, honestly, I started driving like a nun, much to the annoyance of my wife. She's always at me. And the point being that I learned a lesson, that I had to alter my behaviour on the road, otherwise I was going to be knocked off the road. Now, fortunately, this is about 5-6 years ago, fortunately all those points have now fallen off my licence and I've 0, thank God.
Yeah, same with myself now. But since then, I got down to 0 and I've none touch.
Okay, but the point being, by flashing an oncoming motorist, he is not going to be done for speeding, therefore he's not going to get the penalty points, therefore he is not going to modify his behaviour on the road.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, Leo does make a fairly compelling argument for us not to do it, because we all agree that speeding is a problem, and the only way people are going to learn is if they get punished.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've been reluctant to do it ever since that embarrassing moment where I thought I was doing a favour, and next minute out from the trees steps the the motorcycle.
Okay, so be warned that you can be done. Well, like I said, it is illegal in Irish law. It is one of those things that I think is very, very difficult to prove. And in fact, Dermot, that's your point, is how can they prove that you actually did it?
Well, you know what? He's not going to take, if you go to court, you're not going to take a guard's word on it. Well, I seen so-and-so flash so-and-so on such and such a date and such a road. If I pass a speed van and I go further on down the road and the car comes towards me, right, if I flash my lights and I give the chap a wave, right, that's all I was doing.
Mm.
And then I get pulled in like a man did 100 yards down the road by the guard and said, you're not to be flashing him and you just start the other, say, prove it.
And I'm aware, and like we said, we were talking with a guard off air, off the record, and he basically admitted that it is very hard to prove.
The first thing I would ask that guard was, prove it. Where's your video evidence? Well, I seen nothing. We go to court, you seen what? What you see me do? Flash me lights and wave.
Okay, but what about the principle? And I agree with you, and even the guards agree that it is a very difficult thing to prove, that you were flashing somebody with the intention of letting them know that there's a speed camera ahead. But what about the principle and what I was just explaining to you about penalty points and about how people's driving habits and behaviour will only change when they feel their licence is under threat? And I can put my hands up and say, I was that soldier. I was that person with 9 penalty points who drastically changed my driving habits.
Adrian, the way we see it is, it is down to education and educating people how they should be driving on the roads. But Gatso vans and these yokes, they're in the same places every day of the week. You know, more or less the same time. There's one up here in Mulhood Cemetery you could set your watch by. The same
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen it.
You could set your watch by that, like, you know what I mean? And nobody views them as a lifesaver. They just view them as what they seem to be.
Okay, but say, for example, that particular stretch of road that you're talking about is a bad stretch of road. People shouldn't be speeding on that particular stretch of road. And if the van regularly being there has the effect of people driving at the right speed on that road, job done.
But it doesn't. You see, this is the thing. You come up one side or down one side of that, right? And one person gets flashed on that road. It's like everybody else is going to the graveyard after a hearse. You go up that road at 30 mile an hour, and he's gone back to normal.
Okay, so you believe that it is an all right thing for us to do to flash oncoming motorists?
Yeah, we do. We personally do. We do it all the time.
I do it all the time myself, I'll be honest, Dermot, but I'm thinking outside the box a little bit after talking to Leo, and here's a man whose daughter was killed in a road traffic accident, in a hit and run, back in 2005. So obviously he's an axe to grind, and I get that.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah,
we do understand that. But
his point is that speed kills, and in order,
we all know that, Adrian.
and in order to modify people's behaviour, they need to feel under threat, and the only way they'll feel under threat is if they start getting penalty points for speeding.
So we flash Joe Bloggs, right? And he has 9 points on his licence, and he slows down. And it's 6 months down the line, he goes out and, God forbid, he kills somebody or seriously injures them on the road, right? Is it going to go through his head? Jeez, and all the times that I was driving, I was flashed to slow down. Why didn't I do it? My flashing him didn't modify his behaviour over that period of time, did it?
All right, stay there for a second, Dermot. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Sinead just sent us this WhatsApp voice note.
I got a speeding post in the mail one day, and after that, after getting 3 penalty points on my licence, I am very careful now how I drive. So, yes, there should be speed cameras around. If people are stupid enough to break the speed and get caught, they should be fined. Not sure on how much the fines should be, but at least, they should be getting fined if they feel the need to break the speeds. Because, yes, people do get killed, and it's not a nice thing to be coming to someone's door and telling them that, especially if it's a child, that they've been killed because someone couldn't be bothered to slow down.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Sinead. Richard and Sean, I'll take your calls straight after the break.
The sound of the city, from Kilbarrack to Kiltiernan. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Should the law get tough on people who flash oncoming motorists, warning them that they're heading towards a speed camera van? I do it. You've probably done it. Or maybe you haven't. Like Sarah. Sarah would never flash a car.
Hi, folks. Just in relation to flashing oncoming motorists about speed vans, there's absolutely no way I would ever flash anybody to get them to slow down if I saw a speed van. If you're speeding and driving over the limit, to be quite honest, you deserve your penalty points or your fine or whatever you're going to get. The only time I have and would continue to flash somebody, maybe if there was somebody broken down on the road or an animal like a dog or something, just to warn somebody that there is a hazard up ahead. But when it comes to speeding, no, speed vans, no way.
Oh, right, okay. Sarah's not going to flash you. And anyway, the point of this conversation is for us to think why we're doing it. And I think we all agree, just like we all agree drink driving isn't a good thing on the roads, speeding and driving inappropriately on roads is not good either. And if you're temporarily slowing somebody down just so that they don't get fined and penalty points, are you really doing anything, really? Sean, we put a photograph up on our Facebook page earlier on of a guy who deliberately parked his Jeep to block the camera on Gatso van. You do the same thing.
Yeah, I go a little bit further. I put a sign up, but I drive turn back around. I have a magnetic sign in the back of my van. And I'll put it up if I'm not busy or I kind of have a half day or something. Yeah, they're not guards. They're not guards. They're employed. They're a private company.
Yeah.
It's like leasing out public order guarding.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah, let's get civilians and put public order uniforms on them and give them the power of Gardaí to fine people. No.
But they're not actually doing it. It's the cameras that are taking the photographs that prove that you were driving over the speed limit.
The people that are driving the vans are not guards.
I understand that.
That's the point.
I don't get the point.
The point is
they've outsourced this particular aspect of road safety.
So let's outsource public order, Gardaí.
Slightly different.
It's not. It's a matter for the guards. It's a road traffic act that's employed by the government. The government have employed Gardaí to uphold the law. I don't understand how you do.
Okay, so hang on. What does this sign that you will deliberately park your is it a Jeep or a van or whatever?
Whatever, doesn't make a difference.
Okay, and you will deliberately.
I go past the van.
Yep.
I slow down. I turn back around. I go 150 yards before he's there.
Yeah.
And park the van and take the sign out of the back of the van and stick it on the back of the doors with a magnet.
And the sign says what?
Sign says, slow down, Gardaí, not ahead, illegal traffic van.
And how long will you stay there?
Could stay there all day if I have to, just for the crack. I'll turn on the video, watch a bit of Netflix on the phone.
And the effect this has is that it slows people down and they don't get done.
Exactly.
Okay, so you'd park there for a couple of hours and this particular Gatso van...
He'll get word of it or something happen. I put it this way to you. This is where we get very simple, right? If a guard gets caught speeding by one of them vans, it's irrelevant of how I have this information or don't have this information, but it is fact, and the guards can, or whoever it is, if there is people from the government listening, I'm not really interested whether they are or aren't, can contact me to discuss of how I have this information, and I will disclose it to them as a person of authority. If it comes in, they have a way of not issuing penalty points because the guard will say, oh, I was on the way to work. And no, you weren't. It was a Sunday evening and you were flying home because you wanted to go home because you were late for something. And they won't do the guard.
Okay, so what's your issue here, Sean? That these vans have been outsourced?
When you have a penalty point scandal that only went on a couple of years ago involving multiple members of Gardaí, in 2019 when you have the Transport Minister coming out saying that he wasn't in favour of, I do believe, word for word from the Independent saying, Justice Minister Flanagan not in favour of new Transport Minister Shane Roth, new clampdown on speeding. So you have the Justice Minister Flanagan saying, no, I don't agree with your speed ridiculous terms that you want to bring in. And now they're saying yesterday that they want to bring in double penalty points.
For bank holidays.
Come on, where does it stop?
Okay, so, again, is your issue, do you not agree Hang on. Do you not agree that some motorists need to slow down? Some motorists drive far too fast.
Some people are ridiculously carrying on and doing what they're doing and driving dangerously and things like that, right? But I am guilty of. I drive a high-powered car, okay, and I drive a high-powered car because I like the car that I drive. All in all said, that I drive a high-powered car because I have to drive a van most of the time for work.
Okay, but go on, get on with it. Do you not accept that some people drive too fast?
Quickly. I want to get home quickly, and I am guilty of speeding in certain parts of motorways and things like that. My issue is using civilians, giving them vans, civilians carrying out the work of the Gardaí.
Okay, all right, that's your issue. Okay. Sorry, I have Leo back on the line, Leo Legio, who we were speaking to earlier on. Leo, you must be seething listening to this.
I said, man, that guy must think he's a brilliant guy. As I've seen in one of your on the comments on Facebook, not all heroes wear capes. There's more important. These guys on the vans are clearly marked. They're doing a job for the government, contracted by the government to try and save people's lives. Lives are more important than your right to drive your car at whatever speed you want and save people's fines or for your point that they're civilians. I'm more worried. I'm coming from where people's lives have been taken needlessly. Over 40 lives a year taken by people speeding.
Yeah, and just taken by people that are drink driving.
Exactly. Yes, a third of drink drivers.
And in fact, Sean, hang on for 1 second. No, Sean, just for 1 second. We know drink driving is a big problem. And would you warn somebody that he's about to come across a drink drive checkpoint?
I'll explain something to you. I have lost somebody, Damien Scarrett, which is Monument Stays, across from Finch's Pub.
Okay.
He was killed on the 29th of August, 1994. He was my friend. So I don't think that I'm going on and this, that and the other and blah, blah, blah about, I'm a great guy and this wearing cape and these ridiculous statements. This isn't about a cape or anything. My problem is, employed by the government or not, they are civilians driving vans and powered that have been empowered because the government don't have...
Okay, Sean, calm down there for a second. The fact of the matter is that is the law. That this particular company got the contract to provide these vans, and they are there to provide a service which you're obstructing.
That I'm obstructing. They
are not breaking the law.
No, they're not.
They're helping to enforce the law. How often have you heard people saying, they're catching people speeding? Why aren't they going out and catching criminals? And at the checkpoints, it's the same thing. They should be out doing their job, to collect...
tax collectors, they get accused of being...
Exactly, yeah. And all these are necessary as a prevention and to help save lives. It all boils down to people's lives. Which is more important to people, lives or inconvenience?
Okay, stay there for a second. I want to just bring in one last call, and that is you. Richard, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Richard.
Good morning.
Now, Richard, you were a police officer in the UK, and you used to have to deal with this.
Yeah, and I have no problem with people flashing each other. The whole purpose of this speed cameras is to create awareness. That's why the speed cameras and those guys are bright yellow and have police markings on it. But what I used to do, I used to park my police car a few hundred metres away. I'd watch people flashing other drivers, and I'd watch the driver's behaviour. Any vehicle that stopped or turned around in a U-turn, I'd go on like a flash. And the amount of guys there I'd stop who were disqualified drivers, drink drivers, illegal drivers was huge. So I was all in favour of people. Okay,
but your issue wasn't with the people who were actually doing the flashing to warn them.
No,
it was what they did as a result. All right, fair enough, Richard. Thanks very much indeed for your call, and Leo, thank you for your call, and all of you. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. So I have a couple of WhatsApp messages to play about that in a second, and then first world problems. It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Trish with Thursday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. A man's appeared in court charged with the murder of Lyra McKee in Derry. The 29-year-old journalist was shot dead last April during a riot. 52-year-old Paul McIntyre from Derry is also accused of possessing a firearm with intent to endanger life and claiming to be a member of a banned organisation. The funeral of murdered teenager Cian Mulready Woods is taking taking place in Drogheda around now. The 17-year-old's partial remains were found in 2 separate locations in Dublin last month. Takeaway shops and other food businesses in the Dunleary-Rathdown area could face fines of up to €500 for selling or supplying single-use plastics. A public consultation on the draft bylaw has been approved by councillors. It would see the likes of throwaway plastic containers, straws, forks and bottles banned. And a 19-year-old man is being issued with penalty points after speeding behind an ambulance which had its blue lights on. Gardaí and RD stopped the driver on the M1 who was going above 120 kilometres an hour. Gardaí stopped the car after a short pursuit. And you're up to date on 98.
Thank you very much indeed, Trish. Trish, it's the part of the show that we call First World Problems.
Oh, yes.
And Jeremy has a first world problem to bring to us that he reckons you can relate to.
Well, this is quite unique this week because this is a first world problem that affects all three of us. It affects you, Adrian, it affects you, Trish, and it affects myself because we all work in the same building.
We do.
Have any of you noticed a change in the... I want to talk about toilet roll, by the way, for the moment, if you'll allow me.
I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, I know, a charming conversation, toilet roll.
Yeah, go
charming.
on. What about toilet roll?
Have you noticed that whoever supplies the toilet roll to our lovely building here, well, they've changed suppliers. Toilet roll has gone down in standard.
I haven't noticed that.
Oh my God,
nor have I.
Literally in the last couple of weeks. The toilet roll we used to have in this building was 2-ply toilet roll. Do you know what 2-ply is?
It's like a double sheet.
It's a double sheet.
Yeah.
And did you not know that, Adrian? Would you work with me here for a second?
Oh my God, no wonder we call this first world problems.
Up until...
So what's wrong? Is your little body sore?
Up until a couple of weeks ago, it was 2-ply sheets, okay? And they've obviously, the person who runs this building has obviously changed the supplier, and now it's a 1-ply sheet. And I'm sorry, I value my arse enough that I'm not going to use...
So what, do you bring in your own now?
No, but I'm going to have either... No, I don't want to get personal about it, but have either of you used toilet roll here in the last couple of days?
Well, I'm just glad there is toilet roll in the toilet.
Correct.
No, you'd be better off without it.
Well,
I've been.
Sorry, I went to the loo earlier on.
There's no toilet roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to the loo earlier on. I didn't notice any difference.
Well,
I don't notice any difference.
Who even notices toilet roll? Like,
it's like
Jeremy, clearly.
It's like wiping your bum with a leaf in a forest. That's what I'm saying to you.
Ever the one to exaggerate?
No, I'm just saying, Trish, can you bring in some... What's your favourite toilet roll, Adrian? Is it Charmin?
I don't have. Who has a favourite toilet roll?
Honestly.
Oh, I do. Mine is Charmin or nothing.
Thanks, Trish. Goodbye. Go out and check the toilet roll there.
Yeah, will you? I'm surprised she didn't notice that.
This is your first world problem.
It's yours as well, let me tell you.
It's not. I used the loo earlier on.
The majority of people listening now, in our house we're very into toilet roll. And there's oftentimes I would come home with the wrong make of toilet roll and my wife will refuse to use. She'd go, no, bring that back.
Now, you see, the problem we have with toilet roll, this is a real first world problem. We have to use cheapy toilet roll.
1-ply.
It has to be very cheap because we have a septic tank, so... It has to disintegrate fairly quickly.
So you're not using 2-plies?
No.
Oh, you haven't.
Anyway, that's his first world problem. The supplier of toilet rolls to our building here has changed. Who even notices? But Jeremy did. That's his first world problem. What is your first world problem? Now, a first world problem it's a problem in your life right now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a problem. Okay, you know, there are people with very serious problems, and your issue over, like, toilet rolls is not really a problem in the grand scheme of things.
I don't even want to come into work anymore because...
But we call it a first world problem. What is yours? Call us now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. And you could win yourself passes for IMC Cinemas for the most pathetic first world problem. Darren sent us this WhatsApp voice note about loo roll.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think it's with Jeremy there. Yeah, you have to have a good toilet roll because, you can't feel the difference. It's either sandpaper or very something soft, definitely.
What is wrong with you people?
Comfort.
It's not like the days. Remember the old toilet roll that you used to get in public toilets? There was like grease paper.
Yes,
remember that
it
stuff?
Was, yeah.
Now, that literally would scratch the arse off you. We don't have that anymore.
Oh, we do. Go. Run down to the jacks. Honestly.
No. Okay, what is your first world problem? Call us now, 6797 981, or you can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Ken, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Ken?
Good morning. How are you, lads?
Good, thank you, Ken. Ken, what is your first world problem?
Let me set the scene for you. You're sitting at home in the evening, maybe you've just had your Chinese, you're on the sofa, you've popped the recliner out, the fire's on, and you want to change channel. And you realise the buttons are just outside of arm's reach. So you have to go through the entire hassle of getting your phone, opening your phone, into the app, log into the app and change the channel using the app that way. Because who in their right mind is going to move from that comfy spot?
Sorry, you're saying for the sake of stretching your arm or bending over a little bit to get the remote, you log onto your phone, you log onto the app and you change the channel that way?
Is that not what everybody does?
That is the ultimate in laziness. That is the laziest thing I've ever heard.
Are you old enough to remember when TVs didn't have remote controls?
I was the remote control.
Yeah, so was I.
And change that channel. Yeah.
I was literally the remote control, and my sister was the blocker. She was the blocker.
What do you mean the blocker?
She was the one that would stand in front of the TV if sex came on the TV. My mother would send my sister. She'd go, Rebecca, block the TV. I don't want Jeremy seeing sex on the TV. but I was the...
so she was the blocker and you were the clicker?
I was the clicker. And our TV was so old, it was a Nordmendy TV. They don't even make them anymore. And we used to have to hold each button down with sellotape. So if we wanted to change from Network 2 to RT1, you'd have to take a roll of sellotape out, press the button down on RT1, stick a bit of sellotape on it.
And make it stick?
And make it stick.
Oh,
that was my job.
Anyway, Ken, that is a major first world problem.
The horror is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why we call this part of the programme First World Problems. But in your case, it's first world laziness. I've never heard anything so lazy in all my life.
But admit it, you're still impressed.
Well, no, you see, here's the thing, yeah? If I sit down in that sort of scenario and I put my feet up and I chill and maybe pull a blanket over me and I'm about to watch the telly, realise that the remote control is over the far side of the room...
You'll stay watching rubbish,
I'd stay watching the rubbish, yeah. That's exactly what I'll do.
I mean, that's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of people do with this show. They just stay listen to it because they're too lazy to stretch over to the button on their car stereo. Preset 2. Nah, couldn't be bothered.
Thank you, Ken. What is your first world problem? Call us now on 6797 981, or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Dana, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Dana?
Grand.
Good, Dana. What is your first world problem?
I went to see Bad Boys 3 in the cinema a couple of weeks ago with my dad.
Okay.
And went up to pay for the tickets. And next of all, the guy says, do you have any ID on you? And I was like, no. Why? He said, because this is a 16s rated film and I don't think you're over 15.
And what age are you?
I'm 23, I'm 24 in June.
Adrian thought off air when you came on, he handed up a piece of paper with his this girl 14 just now.
No, Dana, I'll be honest with you.
You did, yeah.
Do you know what went through my mind?
What?
Why is this child not in school today?
That's exactly what I thought. That is exactly what I thought. So say that again, you're what age?
I'm 23.
Okay, because you sound much younger. Yeah. Do you look much younger?
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
My brother is 21 and he gets told that he's about 26, 27.
But you get the opposite.
Tall and stuff, but I'm really short, so I would probably get mistaken for a kid in secondary school. And I have been asked as well, are you not in school today? And I'm like,
oh my God. Now the good thing about...
I've been in school in 5 years.
The good thing about it is, when you travel on the bus, you probably get the child's school fare, which is great crack.
I do, and normally I would get the child's fare in the cinema as well, but I had to... My dad has a picture of my driving licence because I passed my driving test when I was 20.
Right.
And I would get a lot of stares as well because they're like, she doesn't look old enough to be driving.
That's mad, that is.
So you didn't get into Bad Boys because you had no ID?
I did get in because my dad has a photo of my driving licence on his phone for cases like this. So he pulled it up on his phone and handed it to me and I was like, oh, okay, yes, you can go.
That's mad.
I would just love one day in the next couple of weeks for somebody to ask me for ID. I haven't been asked for ID since the 80s.
And can I tell you, looking at you now, nobody's ever going to ask you for ID, ever. Thanks, Dana. That's her first world problem. What is your first world problem?
So, did you see this message? I wonder how true this is. Lads, talking about remote controls, did you know that you can use a remote control through wood if your TV box is in a case, the remote control goes through it? That's not true. Sure, it's not. To use a remote control on a TV, it can't be blocked. The sensor can't be blocked. Like say
because it's infrared, isn't it?
Our Virgin Media box, is in a TV unit and there's a flap. So you push the flap up. I don't think you can use it if the flap is up, can you?
I can't answer that, but I don't think so. It's infrared, so it has to be line of sight.
It needs to be line of sight, yeah.
Christina, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Christina?
Hi, lads. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you, Christina. You sounded very happy today. What is your first world problem?
Well, to be fair now, lads, it's a fairly shitty problem now, to be fair.
Okay, go on.
My partner, we've been inside in bed together, and he let them off. I'm telling you, let them rip. And the side sensor covers me over.
Oh.
And the smell, lads, I swear to God.
That's a keeper. That man's a keeper.
A keeper?
No.
He's vomiting for 20 minutes solid afterwards.
Oh,
that man's a legend.
No, he's
that
not.
man has some serious health problems.
And, this is a major first world problem. So basically, my other half farts in the bed.
Dutch oven, isn't that what it's called?
And shoves my head under the sheets.
Yeah.
You could also go into
why don't I have romance? Why don't I have romance like that in my life at the moment? Where did I go wrong? Yeah, that actually is, and I know a lot of people do that as a mess with their partner. It's a disgusting thing to do. It really is.
Now, you only say that because you got clattered around the place when you did it.
And come here, on a more serious note, does your partner have a gastro problem?
No, he just loves to fart.
A sign of having
gastro issues.
Because I used to have this issue as well, and I found out it was a food intolerance. Human bodies are not supposed to blow wind.
I think a lot of cans of cider now would.
That'd be the cans of cider.
There now, you know.
That's mad. Okay, that's a real first world problem.
It is. It's a sign you have a bad diet. Look
Jeremy says this message.
Yeah.
Go to Florida. They ask everyone for ID. I'm 40 in April and got asked for ID buying a bottle of wine in Walgreens. I was delighted.
No, I've been to Florida about 10 times, never got asked for ID.
You do look about 80.
I've been to Vegas. I thought I swanned into Vegas, into the MGM casino. Look, strutting like Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
They hoping that the man would come over and say, you're too young to gamble here. Hello, sir, would you like a free drink?
Well, myself and my missus, a couple of years ago, we were in Nashville in the States, yeah?
Yes.
And we went to this bar that was near our hotel that we were staying in, and arrived at the door. Sorry, sir, you can't come in.
What state?
In Tennessee.
No, what state were you in when you got to the bar?
In a perfect state.
Perfect state, okay.
Anyway, he wouldn't let us in without ID, so I had to go all the way back to the hotel to get our passports. And I said to your man,
that story's not believable.
It is, it's true. Realistically, do I look under 21? Honestly, in your wildest dreams. And he said, no, you don't. But it's the law there, you see. You can't be on a premises.
But not only, and I don't mean
without ID.
I don't mean offence by this.
Yeah.
Not only do you not look 21.
Yeah.
You don't look 41 either. Like he was literally.
He wanted ID for both of us.
God.
Now where am I going? Let's go to Amanda. You're on 98 FM. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Amanda, what is your first world problem?
On Monday, our new Super King beds got delivered, and our
better.
blankets and our duvets were meant to get delivered on Monday as well, but he brought them to the wrong address, and they're not coming till today.
Oh, so you've had really small duvets on your really big bed?
No, we've had to just sleep in the spare bed while our bed just sat there.
Isn't that so annoying?
Yeah.
Jeremy, what size is yours?
I'm a double.
Double?
Yeah, no.
Oh, so small.
No, it means you have to cuddle into your wife when you have a double.
Who wants that?
Sorry, I do. I don't know about you.
No, I have to say, on the odd occasion that we've slept in a double bed in the last couple of years, in a hotel or whatever, I can't stand it. It's too small. Are you looking forward to being in your lovely new mega big bed?
Yeah, because we've been in a double, our spare room is a double, and I feel like he's literally on top of me all night.
Yeah.
And I just need space.
Jesus, lads, that's what beds are for, to be on top of each other.
Not at all.
Well, it actually is.
No, when you go to sleep, you need your own space.
You don't want to be on top of each other all the time. It's okay from time to time, yeah?
Yeah.
But I love our bed because I wave goodnight to her. I literally wave goodnight.
You wave?
We've got our own space. That's deadly. And you're really looking forward to getting into the new bed?
Yeah, and
that's a real
for the delivery man.
But it's a real first world problem that you've been looking at the bed just sitting there all week.
Are bed sheets for queen size and double queens and double kings, are they more expensive?
They are a bit more expensive, yeah. But they're worth it.
They're harder to get, aren't they?
No, not really, no. They used to be. They're not anymore.
But does it not take ages to wash and dry bed sheets for a bed that's that big?
Not much longer, no. Anyway, Amanda, enjoy sleeping in your new, big, luxurious, huge bed tonight.
I will. Thank you.
Look, that's her first world
What
problem.
size was her bed?
A Super King.
What's the biggest one you can get?
Super King, I think.
Because I remember when
what size is it? A 6 foot bed, Amanda?
6 foot by 6.
Yeah, 6 by 6. Yeah,
6 foot wide.
Yeah, same as ours. Ours is 6 by 6.
Geez, you could have an orgy in that bed.
You could
if you were that way inclined.
Yeah, 6 by 6. Oh, that's great.
6 foot
by
between
6.
you.
Where yours is probably 4.5 foot or something.
Oh, it is. But I think that's nice on a cold winter's night.
Not at all. No. Connor, what is your first world problem?
Is there anything worse than slow Wi-Fi?
No, you're dead right. You're dead right. That is a first.
You pay for a premium top service and you get jack. It's absolutely ridiculous.
We happen to live in a part of North County Dublin that is 3 miles. This is the truth, Connor. We are 3 miles as the crow flies from Dublin Airport, yeah?
Really,
so a major international airport, and we have no broadband. Our broadband is shockingly bad.
And Connor, what do you be wanting to download that you need fast internet for?
If you're watching Netflix or you're gaming online
and it's
or you're streaming anything on Now TV or anything like that, you know, you could be at a pivotal moment of what you're watching. There could be a goal about to be scored and it stop, freeze and buffer, and before you know it, it jumps back and the team is 1-0 up where, you know, you've missed a crucial part of the story.
And you don't know how it ever happened.
Exactly.
Well,
it's just ruined it all.
Are you watching football on those dodgy sites, those streaming sites?
No. I work for a telecommunications company.
Oh, so you can't do that.
I get them all for free, yeah.
No, it is I have to say it's my... You know this whole national broadband plan that they're rolling out?
I work within the industry. So
oh, right, okay. Well, we're not even on the bloody map for it.
Really?
Well, in 2027 or something. Yeah, will you?
Well, they're not going to go up Adrian's Boreen just so Adrian can have Netflix.
Well, that's the plan. But they're not doing it. Anyway, literally, we are 3 kilometres as the crow flies from Dublin Airport and we don't have broadband.
Can I give you a little tip? Do what I do. The company I work for has great Wi-Fi. We have great Wi-Fi here, don't we?
Yeah, it is.
So what I do is when I arrive into work during the day, I don't work for the first half an hour that I'm in here every day.
Download everything.
I literally download everything onto Netflix that I want to watch using the company's Wi-Fi, and then when I get home, I just watch it.
They'll send you an invoice now for the usage.
You are that mean.
That's how mean I am.
Thanks, Connor. Good luck. Now, Donna, what is your first world problem?
Hello.
Hiya, Donna.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
My one would be all nice and cozy, tucked in your bed, and you have to get up to go to the toilet.
Oh, there's nothing.
Yeah, especially at this kind of weather. It's horrible, and the longer you leave it, the worse it gets.
My first world problem was last week. I have our heating set to come on at 5:30 in the morning for an hour and a half, yeah? So the house is normally lovely and toasty.
By the time you get up.
By the time I get up, and the water's hot and everything else. Last week, I got up out of the bed and the house was like a fridge. Because we've got oil central heating and the oil had run out and the house was like a fridge and the shower was freezing cold and I had to come into work after just not even having a shower. It was awful. That was my first world problem.
You have to brace yourself, don't you?
No, it's awful. It's awful. Yeah, it's horrible. Thanks, Donna. Bye. And we've one more first world problem, and that is Aisling. You're on 98 FM. Hi, Aisling.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. What is your first world problem?
My first world problem is definitely when you're in bed, all cozy, jammies on, and you're doing your online shopping, and you have to get up to get your card.
You have to get up and get what?
Your card.
Your credit card.
Oh, yeah, you have to get out of the bed.
Yes, it is the worst.
Just use PayPal.
Oh, well, you know, I don't have PayPal.
No.
So you doesn't have PayPal?
It's too complicated.
Too complicated.
Very complicated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to sign into the account.
No, the problem
that's even worse.
Yeah.
I'd rather get up.
The problem with PayPal is if somebody gets a hold of your iPad or your phone or your laptop, they can buy whatever they want. Remember the story I told you? A year ago, I gave my son my iPad to have a go in it for a half an hour, yeah? And thought nothing of it. But 2 weeks later, a package arrived in the post, and it was a set of 12 mug coasters. You know, coasters that you put under your cups. And I was like, "Who bought these on eBay?" It turns out my son had gone onto eBay,
Oh my God.
bought a set of 12 coasters, paid for them with my PayPal account, And didn't need any passwords.
You probably haven't even got 12 mugs, have you?
No,
Oh my God, stop. I have a toddler too, so she'd probably do the same.
No, that's mad. Yes, getting up out of the bed when you're doing your online. Now, come here, out of curiosity, Aisling, because I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday.
Yeah.
When you're buying online, do you buy from any of those Chinese sites?
Oh, yeah.
Like
definitely.
Wish and all that, yeah?
Yeah, AliExpress.
Okay, have you stopped because of the virus?
Absolutely.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. I read online somewhere that they've actually stopped posts from China, so I'm not ordering them to not get them, you know.
Yeah, no.
I ordered from Wish the other day.
Yeah, but you won't get it till 2027.
No, I won't.
But no, I'm just curious if anybody else has stopped shopping on the Chinese site.
I'd love to know.
Because of the coronavirus. Because this person I was talking to yesterday said, I'd be afraid of my life to open up the package and catch the virus.
Would you stop?
No,
Yeah,
honestly.
well, when it first came out, I did get a package from AliExpress. I did leave it in a bag tied up for a few days before I had the courage to open it.
You know my problem with AliExpress and Wish, Aisling?
Yeah.
Is that the amount of time it takes to deliver. When I order clothes and I go on those sites, I've put on weight by the time it's arrived.
So fashion's change in the time you're waiting.
Up a few sizes.
I literally order a medium T-shirt on AliExpress in January, and by May it's sort of arrived, and I'm like 2 sizes bigger again. It's a waste of time.
I think that's more of an issue over your weight gain.
It probably is.
A couple of people are just texting us here because I'm just curious about this with the coronavirus or whatever it's called, something 19 now. Have people actually stopped shopping on the Chinese sites like Wish or
And
Alibaba?
Aisling, do you think it's going to be like that episode of The Simpsons that the package arrives and Homer opens the package and all the bugs just come flying out and up your nose?
I doubt it's that bad now.
Well, I've just gotten a message from somebody to say, I've just gotten these earphones delivered from China and I'm afraid of my life to put them on.
Oh, God. I don't know. A bit of Dettol and she'd be grand.
Yeah, sorry, there's
is this not scaremongering?
No, there's loads of people, actually, can I just tell you, who are not ordering off the Chinese sites because they're afraid of the virus.
So, Aisling, where's the package that you ordered over there? Have you still got it?
I've opened it up now and we're all grand. So.
And you're still alive?
We're still alive and kicking.
Yeah, see,
I'd say you can be asymptomatic for a couple of days, just saying.
Jeez, don't be wishing that on the girl.
I'm just saying.
Thanks.
Aisling, do you feel okay at the moment?
Feel absolutely fine.
Your eyes aren't watery or anything, or
nothing at all.
No, okay. If you do contract the virus, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, can you call us and give us the first interview, please?
I will indeed.
Be brilliant.
Thanks, Aisling. I got post from China, says this message, and opened it up. I'm grand. I got the post from China on Monday.
Yeah, the Wish, the building where Wish all comes from isn't near the affected area. Sure, it's not.
I have no idea. It's China.
Oh, it could be anywhere.
Now, having said that, China is monstrous. Hi, I ordered off AliExpress. I got 6 orders yesterday. I opened the lot. Also, I got some this morning. So there's somebody who's not in the slightest bit concerned about ordering from
I don't think,
the Chinese sites.
I'm not an expert. Can the virus be carried on a
T-shirt?
On a T-shirt.
I don't know. This is the whole thing. I don't know if it can be carried on the T-shirt.
Okay, here we go. I've just looked it up.
Here's another message.
Oh.
Next time you pop bubble plastic that your goods from China are wrapped in, remember that's Chinese air in the bubbles. Anyway, this person honestly has stopped ordering off the Chinese sites because afraid that the virus might travel through the package.
But surely that package getting here is up in a plane 30,000 feet. Is the cold air not going to kill any virus that'll be on it?
I would have thought so.
So now does Jackie...
Sorry, can I just tell you, you're saying about like in the airplane.
Yeah.
I'm sure they take so long, they come on somebody's backpack.
Yeah, but you know what's after happening now? Jackie is listening in Ballymun at the moment, yeah? And she ordered underwear back in November of last year, and it just arrived this morning. Now Jackie is opening the package of underwear with a pair of marigold gloves on, a mask over her face, and a big long tongs because she's afraid to touch the thing. Well done, Adrian.
Here's one final message on this. I fly drones, and I need a few new parts for one of my drones, but I am not ordering anything off the Chinese sites, so I can't fly my drone until I get them. My God, the amount of people, look at the amount of messages coming in on this. I've ordered, and a week ago I got I received a bag, opened it, and gas came out of the bag. I honestly couldn't catch my breath.
Okay.
I've received more packages, and they're fine.
Okay, can I read out? This is from an expert, okay? Can I just put this to bed right here? Because we don't want to scaremonger, okay? So this is from the US, okay? And in the US, they have a big organization called the Center for Disease Control, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a huge big center in America that looks after disease control.
Good.
And here's what the Center for Disease Control have said, the CDC, okay? So their top woman in immunization and respiratory, her name is Nancy Mizner, okay?
Yep.
And she said that due to the poor survivability of these kinds of viruses on surfaces, there is a likely she said very twice, okay?
Okay, very.
There is a likely very low risk of spread from products or packaging that are shipped over a period of days or weeks, or in the case of AliExpress, and
months,
years, at ambient temperatures.
Okay, so no is the answer. There's nothing to fear.
Well, I'm not saying it. Nancy said very low. Okay, that's what she said.
Okay. And then just one final message. Somebody's a little bit annoyed. The ignorance that I'm hearing on this show is unbelievable. You're a radio show, and you're encouraging erratic scaremongering by allowing this to be aired. Sorry, I'm not the one who actually said it. Somebody who said it to me yesterday, and I wanted to find out if there are other people who feel that way, because I agree, it's absolute scaremongering. I believe that anybody who's stopped ordering from Chinese sites, or the Chinese restaurants we heard about last week in the city centre, business down 85% because people won't go into it.
But that's ridiculous.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So we're not scaremongering, we're just trying to highlight the fact that some people are scaremongering. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Now, oh, by the way, Ken, you've won yourself passes for IMC Cinemas. Ken is the lazy git who wouldn't get up off his arse to change the telly. He logs onto his app and changes his television channels that way, rather than actually going over to the other side of the room to get the remote control. So there you are, Ken. You've won yourself passes for IMC Cinemas. Now, next on the programme and after the break, how would you feel if your partner said no when you asked if you could have a go with their phone? This is an interesting conversation. It's all to do with kind of partly privacy, but also to do with whether or not it's... Okay, so you ask your partner for a go with their phone and they say no. What would you do? Wait till you hear... I have a very interesting message from a lady called Kim, which I'll bring to you straight after the break.
The sound of the city, from Clondalkin to Clontarf. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. It's Thursday morning, the 13th of Feb 2020, and we're here until midday today. Now, next on the programme, and I'm going to come to deal with this in a couple of minutes, a discussion that we've never had on the show, and every single person in a relationship can relate to this. How private and secretive are you when it comes to your mobile phone around your partner? Would you let them go through it? If they asked you, could they look through your phone, would you allow them? And supposing this situation that Kim had, she asked her fellow the other night, could she use his phone to look up something, and he point blank said no. He won't let Kim near his phone and has it constantly password and Face ID blocked, so she can never get into the phone. Have a listen to this. Kim sent me this on Facebook last night, and she says, I'm not a paranoid person, but I'm really paranoid at the moment that my fiancé is cheating on me. On Monday, we were watching TV together. I wanted to check something on my phone, but my battery was dead. I asked him if I could use his, and he said no. He wants his own privacy. He grabbed his phone and wouldn't let me near it. I've never been through his phone as he has a password and Face ID on it. So why would someone be so secretive? I'm now completely paranoid that he's hiding something, or there are messages he doesn't want me to see, or photographs he doesn't want me to see. I've no problem with him seeing mine, by the way. And that's from a lady called Kim. Now, some people believe that the ultimate invasion of somebody's privacy is to go rooting through their phone. It's like an old-fashioned diary. It's the ultimate invasion of somebody's privacy to go reading through their diary. Is a mobile phone the exact same thing? Are you somebody who, for whatever reason, just doesn't like anybody going near your phone, doesn't want anybody rooting through it, including your own partner? Call me right now on 6797981. You can text, you can WhatsApp, you can send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. I mean, the very first message that just came in, not a chance would I be letting my missus near my phone. More to do with the lads and what they send in WhatsApp groups. So there's a very first message we're after getting in. No way would I let my missus near my phone. Are you somebody who's very protective over it? And obviously, there's different things in all of our phones. You might have private stuff in there, and it's not that you're cheating on her, but you or him, but you just don't. You want to keep it private, just like back in the day, people would keep diaries and keep it private and write private thoughts in them and whatever. Call me now, 6797981, and we'll take your calls on that in just a couple of minutes. But before we get to that, it is Valentine's Day tomorrow. Love and dating is top of most people's minds. So we decided to talk to a relationship expert to find out why so many people don't succeed on a first date. Where does it all go wrong? According to Jennifer Haskins, who's the founder of the dating site Two's Company, there's a lot that both men and women can do to increase their chances of success on a first date. First of all, if there's no chemistry on the first date, there'll be no chemistry later on. If the attraction is not there, then things don't progress. If there is chemistry, you might be onto a winner. And Jennifer Haskins from Two's Company joins me on the line. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
Chemistry is something you can't make, is it?
No, and it's something that no one can define. Even couples over the years that I've matched successfully, when I ask them, well, what was different this time than previous times, they find it really hard to describe what made this person click with them or what made the level of compatibility they had. Chemistry, an awful lot of it is down to, I suppose, an energy that we all emanate that is picked up by the other person. It's going on so many levels that we have no concept of what's going on when we meet somebody and we're attracted to them. So it isn't something that can be defined. I mean, the French coined it so well, je ne sais quoi. That's exactly what it is.
I don't know what.
Undefinable.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, okay. So
it's very special.
When you meet somebody for a first, and a lot of people meet through sites like your own or through online dating apps or whatever, do you know straight away if there's going to be something here? Do you get a good feeling at the very beginning?
Well, you see, the thing about it is I meet everybody face to face. So when I'm with them, I'm picking up all sorts of other things because I'm, 11, nearly 12 years in this business. And because of my background, which is psychology, human behaviour, I'm always really interested in what makes people tick. So when I'm sitting chatting to you, for example, if you were sitting in front of me and if I'm chatting to you, I'm asking you the normal questions about your life and about what you're looking for in a partner, but I'm reading between the lines. I'm reading in between those layers. I'm getting a sense of who you really are, how you behave, how you react to different situations, how you've reacted to things in the past, and even what your past has brought you in relationships. How has it been for you in the past in relationships, good or bad? So I'm compiling an awful lot more, and that's like my treasure trove that I use then when I'm matching you up with someone, because I'm like, okay, what sort of life experience have you got? What's really important to you? What do you value in a person? And then obviously I see who's sitting in front of me. I can see how you present. I can see how good, your social skills, how relaxed you are about talking about yourself, how interested you are in other people. What do you do with your life? And all of that is used. It's amazing.
Okay, so let's go through some of the tips to have a successful first date, because in a lot of cases, especially now, the way in which people are meeting online and so on, and through through companies like yourselves, the first date, in a lot of cases, is the very first time they meet. Now, they may have been communicating with each other, messaging each other and whatever, But quite often, the first date is the very first time they're actually meeting. So give me a few suggestions of how to make that first date go that little bit better.
Okay, well, it can be nerve-wracking meeting somebody for the first time because you're both judging one another. You're visually and every other way we're judging one another. But I think that if I was to give one top tip, I'd say to people, try and be more relaxed, because when we're relaxed, we're more ourselves. And then the other person is seeing the best of us. And try not to prejudge anybody, because we go in with all these filters about past relationships, about what we think, should be the perfect partner for us, what they should look like, how they should behave. A lot of the time, we're not really seeing the person sitting in front of us because there's so many judgments clouding it. So, number one, be relaxed. Try and realise that the other person is probably feeling just as intimidated as you are, and the other person is probably just as nervous as you are. So try and take that into account and say, okay, if I am relaxed and if I feel good, try and turn up on time or early. Get yourself ready early so you're not rushing in a mad rush to the place, because that's going to get the stress levels up. Don't drink too much thinking, I'll have to have a few drinks before I meet the person, because then you're also not going to be at your best. The other person is going to notice that you're maybe, slurring your words, or that you have had maybe more to drink than would be advised. So being relaxed, wearing something that you're comfortable in, but not a tracksuit, obviously. You don't want to turn up looking like you've just got out of bed. Present yourself in the best way. First impressions last. But even to crack a joke, it's amazing how humour cuts through everything. So if you're both nervous, maybe even saying, God, this is nerve-wracking, isn't it? It's like going to the doctors, or something to that effect, that the other person will go, yeah, I'm a bit nervous too. Then you connect on that level straight away. Little bit of humour, let your guard down a little bit. It doesn't mean that you're going to, put your whole life out on the table and spill everything out to the other person, because that's a big no-no. I find that sometimes men are inclined to do it more than women, that they're inclined to think, okay, here's somebody that understands me, that's on the same wavelength, on the same hymn sheet, and therefore maybe talk a lot about past relationships. And the woman sitting there going, the last thing I want to hear about is his ex and how awful she was. So talking about past relationships, particularly negative ones, is a real no-no. Keep it positive. Keep it topical at the beginning, fairly general, nothing too deep. You're not going to go into all the trauma of the past, but just to keep it light and humour. And, you're trying to create the best impression. And the other person also...
Humour obviously doesn't mean try to be a comedian, but...
No.
And another...
Everything in moderation.
Another key thing is, you said at the start, try not to be nervous, try to be as relaxed as you can. But one of the biggest turn-offs in a first date is somebody who actually drinks too much and talks too much.
Oh, yeah. And show an interest in the other person, because some people, when they're nervous, they talk too much. And again, the other person is sitting there going, well, they haven't asked me anything about myself. So you don't want to become an interrogator either, but you do have to show an interest in the other person and let them see that you actually want to know something about them. Even if you decide after the first, 10 minutes, half an hour, this person is not for me, whatever decision you've made, I think people should also have some regard to the fact that, this other person has come here to see me. Why don't I try and create a nice atmosphere? Why don't I make this a pleasant experience for them and for myself? Because you'll feel better about yourself if you have made someone else feel good. Doesn't mean you're signing up to marry them or meet them again, but at least they can go away from this interaction feeling good. And I think that's really important. Leave the other person feeling good about the time they spent with you.
All right, some good advice. And finally, Jennifer, just as a complete by the way, what was your reaction to that message from Kim whose fella basically wouldn't let her near his phone?
It's probably a bit of an overreaction, but, privacy is king today. Think about it. You know, between Facebook and social media, and that's why I suppose a lot of people come to an agency like Choose Company, because again, it's about privacy. Because we don't all want everybody to know about our lives and what we're doing and whether we're looking for a partner. But privacy is king, and
okay,
a lot of people value their
yes,
privacy.
that's what I was about to say. So it's not necessarily a sign that he's up to no good. It's that some people believe they're entitled to their own privacy, and that includes their phone. Jennifer, thank you very much indeed for joining us. That's Jennifer Haskins, the founder of Choose Company. We'll take some calls on this straight after the break.
The sound of the city, from Saggart to Sutton. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
So Kim is sitting with her fella the other night. They're watching TV together, and she wanted to check something on her phone, but her battery was dead. I asked him if I could use his, and he said no. He wants his own privacy. He grabbed his phone and wouldn't let me near it. I've never been through his phone, and he has a password and Face ID on it. So why would someone be so secretive? I'm now paranoid that he's hiding something. Owen, you were accused by your ex of cheating when you wouldn't show her your phone.
Exactly, yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, long story. Like the way it was, I think it was like Saturday night or something. We were just watching TV. She goes, "I want to see your phone." I was like, "No." So she says, "Why don't you let me see your phone?" I'm like, "Because I don't want to see my phone. I have my privacy." So then she starts accusing me, like saying that, "Oh, I know you're cheating on me. My mate Sarah seen you in the cafe the other day with another woman," and I was back in the corner. So I was like, I had to reveal everything. Basically, like the reason was because we were together about 4 years, and I had saved up enough money to get a mortgage for us to buy a house. So I was actually out with an estate agent that day looking at homes, and we were just grabbing a coffee to have a break from that and to go back out and see more. But she wasn't believing me, but she accused me, and I showed her all the details, like all the records of the houses we were looking at and everything, all the phone calls, the emails and everything like that. And she was kind of dumbfounded by it, but she was giving uproar, screaming throughout the night, throwing stuff at me, going mad, and just completely lost the plot. But like that would be my story on it. Like, okay, so I had records of it on my phone. So
you actually went to meet somebody to discuss buying a house, and I assume that was the end of that. Then, so you didn't...
Oh yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're not together anymore. I couldn't stay with her after that.
Okay, so you had your reasons for not wanting her to look at your phone. She had her reasons for asking you, and then when it all came out, when she found out exactly why you were meeting somebody, what did she say? Did she apologise?
She didn't believe me at first. She walked out, went to her mum's, I think about 2 weeks after that, because we only had an apartment at the time. And the thing was, her birthday was about 3 or 4 months away. So the reason I wanted to get this done quick so I could have the keys to surprise her for her birthday, because we'd been together for a few years, we had enough money saved up, so I wanted to put the deposit down for the mortgage. So when I finally showed her the stuff, she apologised. She said she wants to give another go. I'm like, no, it's too late if you can't trust me.
Right, okay, so that was the end of that. And do you believe, okay, so this lady's message, Kim's message, her fella wouldn't let her look at her phone as well. Are we all entitled to that bit of privacy, even if we're in relationships, that our phones, are a private place?
I believe so, because you should have your private time. Like, it should be your own thing, because
we're all entitled to a little bit of privacy in our lives.
Exactly, because say for instance, if you're living with someone, you're with them every day, so you don't really have your own time. Your phone's your only kind of thing for your little own space.
Okay, but stay there for 1 second. Alison, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Alison.
How are you?
Alison, we're all entitled to our little bit of privacy, and if that privacy is our phone, well then so be it.
Yeah, I agree with that, but my partner has no problem with me being on his phone. I actually even know his code to get into his phone.
Okay, right. And do you ever go rooting through his phone?
I would never go rooting through his phone. If I need to get onto his phone to get onto something, he has no problem handing that over to me.
But have you ever rooted through it?
No.
Honestly, now?
Honestly, I wouldn't do it without asking.
Never flick down through his WhatsApps to see who's getting messages from, or no?
No, never.
And what about the other way around? Do you let him at your phone?
Oh, he's quite welcome on my phone. He has my code from my phone as well.
Okay, so imagine then, Alison, you say to him tomorrow, can I have a look at your phone? And for some reason he says, well, look, Alison, I prefer if you didn't. It's my private space.
No, because I would totally trust him.
But if he suddenly, you're saying that up until now, he's allowed you to look through it, or allowed you to use it or whatever. If tomorrow he suddenly changed and suddenly said, well, look, I've been thinking about this and my phone is my private space and I prefer if you didn't go near it.
I'd have no problem with that.
I don't believe you for 1 second.
No, seriously, I'd have no problem with that because I trust him and I'd know he wouldn't be up to anything.
You wouldn't be even curious as to why he suddenly stopped?
No, not at all.
So do you think that there's any reason for this lady Kim to be paranoid now? Because you're saying it wouldn't bother you in the slightest?
No, not in the slightest.
Okay, so her fella said to her the other day, this is my private space. It's I'm entitled to my privacy, and wouldn't let her near her phone.
He could have something on the phone that he doesn't want her to see, that he's organising or that he's doing or stuff like that. But, like, it's the thing of there should be trust there that...
Okay, so because she's now becoming paranoid, that shows that she doesn't trust him more than anything else. Okay, so she should just chill out. All right, stay there for a second. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Daniel, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Daniel?
How are you getting on? You well?
Good, thank you, Daniel. You would have no problem with your other half going through your phone?
Not at all, no. If she was to ask, should they go through my phone, no problem. Just like that girl there, she has the code to my phone, she can go on the phone anytime, and vice versa. I have the code to her phone as well. Like, at the end of the day, if she wants to use it, she can use it. So
okay,
no problem at all.
This lady she says she's paranoid because her fella won't let her near her phone. Is she right to be paranoid?
But I don't know. Like,
in other words, his argument was that he wants his own privacy. And just like I said earlier on, a diary is something that you wouldn't read somebody's diary because it's their own personal world.
No, but like, it's not as if she wasn't asking to look at his messages. She was asking just to use the phone. So at the end of the day, like, why he would freak out about that, I don't know. Like, if she was to turn around and say, "Oh, I want to look at your messages," maybe then it might be something to be concerned about. But if it's just to use the phone, I don't understand what the problem is.
And why he would have said no.
Yeah, like, if she just wanted to use the internet or such a thing like that, no problem. But if it was like, if she was to turn around and ask to look at messages, like, there's a trust issue there. But like,
and as a matter of interest, then, if your other half were to say to you, "Listen, Daniel, give us a go of your phone. I want to have a look through your messages."
Yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Like, there might be some things from groups that I'm in she might not agree on, but like, no problem. I have no issues with it. Like, at the end of the day, it's nothing that I've been putting on the groups or anything. But as I say, if she wants to look at it and she sees it, so if she wants to ask me what it's about, I have no problem.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. By the way, if you've a comment to make on this, we might come back to this for a brief time tomorrow because we haven't had enough time to really delve into this. If you've an opinion on this, send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Send me a WhatsApp voice note right now with your opinion on this, and we may come back to it for a short time tomorrow because we haven't had an awful lot of time to deal with this. Do you allow your partner to look through your phone? Do you look through his phone? Do you ever sneak a look at their phone and root through it? Send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98 and we'll come back to it tomorrow. Here's a message just come in to me and it says, "I'm with my other half 20 years and he doesn't care if I look through his phone, and if he was freaking out now, if I did, I would be very suspicious." After 20 years, okay, that would be a sign of a change in his character or whatever. Yeah, send me a WhatsApp note and we will come back to continue this conversation at some stage during tomorrow's programme. Have a great Thursday. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If you've something you want to bring up on the programme, send us an email, dublintalks@98fm.com. Barry Dunn is next. He's got some great music lined up in the next hour, like these.
I'm too good to you. I'm way too good to you. How do you sleep when you lie to me?
The sound of the city from Perrystown to Portmarnock.
Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.